Okay, so we'll look at some basic characteristics of functions today. This is mostly a review of functions. All right, so one of the things that you have to know for this course is how to find the intervals of increase and decrease and the relative maximum and minimum values. Okay, so let's start off with intervals of increase and decrease. So when I look at a function, I always want to look at it, or a graph, I want to look at it like I'm going from like I'm reading a book from left to right. So I'm looking at it in this direction. And so as you can see from this, when I look at it from this direction, it looks like from negative infinity, right? So from negative infinity all the way up to 41, right? I'm sorry, all the way up to negative 3 because I'm looking at my intervals of increase and decrease. I'm looking at my x-axis. So from negative infinity to all the way up to negative 3, I'm increasing, right? So that's increasing. But then from negative 3 all the way to 4, I'm decreasing, right? So from negative 3 to 4, I am decreasing. And then from 4 on to positive infinity, I'm increasing again. Okay? Now for the relative max and min. Max and min, so intervals of increase and decrease are on the x-axis. And when I'm talking about height, of course, we're going to be talking about the y-axis. So for my maximum, the relative maxes just looks like when you look at the graph, what is the highest point that you see? And the max, our relative max, because we don't know what's going on when I go to the negative infinity and the positive direction and the negative direction. So my max is at y, just for the relative, for what we see, is at 41. And for the min, my lowest is at y equals negative 73.3. Let's do another one. And again, this is just review. We'll look for the intervals of increase and decrease. We have quite a few this time, right? So again, I'm looking at it like I'm reading a book. And this time from negative infinity. This is my infinity sign, by the way, in case you're confused. All the way looks like to negative 1. I'm going to say negative 1. I am decreasing. Would you agree? Looks like I'm going down. Looks like the graph is going down. Then from negative 1 all the way to 0, looks like I'm increasing. And then from 0 all the way to positive 1, I am decreasing. And then again from 1 to infinity, and this is my infinity sign, by the way, I am again increasing. So I actually can put these together. You know, you don't necessarily want to leave them separated. We got a decrease, increase, decrease, increase. I can say my intervals of decrease are negative infinity to negative 1 in union with 0 to 1, right? I could. Now let's talk about the relative maximum and minimum values. Okay, so looking at this graph, relatively speaking, the maximum value here is at 0, y equals 0. And then I have two relative, well, just one relative actually maximum, because they're looks like they're at the exact same point. Would you agree? So y equals negative 1. And if I want to denote the different ones, I can denote it as a point. It would be negative 1, negative 1, and 1, negative 1. All right. Another example. intervals of increase and decrease. So again, if I look at it like I'm reading a book from left to right, it looks like from negative infinity all the way to -2, I am decreasing. Looks like it's going down. Then it starts to increase here at -2. So from -2 to positive infinity, looks like I'm increasing. And I do not, if I look at this graph, I don't have a maximum value. Instead, because it's a parabola, there's just a minimum value at y equals 3. Or you can label the whole point at -2, 3. And I hope that this helps.